All right, welcome back to the Anime Association. This is One Piece episode 1130. Attic, my man with the master plan. What do you think about this episode?
Man, all the all-star lineup that we got. It was incredible to see everybody, all the big name pirates that we have known, but not all of them that we have seen a bunch of. We got to see in this episode. Now, I am hoping that maybe like a movie or something, comes out about God Valley because they still didn't show us, really any of the fighting, which is like I feel like the what everybody wants to see from that. But I think the episode did a really good job. I think it was a good episode.
Yeah, as I was watching it, I was like, they're going all out on this animation, just showing these characters. Just imagine what they would do with a fight, and like I think what you saying like about a movie, I think that's really like the wider consensus that people would want to see a God Valley movie if we don't get like a full arc. Just give us a good 90-minute movie, and that's all we really need because it was the way it was built up was just exciting all the way around.
Yeah,
What anything? Go ahead.
well, yeah, another thing is that Toei's working on 2 movies, and
Yeah,
one of the movies could be God Valley.
really. Oh yeah, because one of them is a One Piece movie, isn't it? I think it's been confirmed that it's a One Piece and Dragon Ball movie that they're working on, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so God Valley movie would be kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie, it would be kind of dope. Now, one thing I know we missed last week when we were talking about it, they gave the title guard to Saint Garling, but also in the title guard it said he was a God's Knight. Do you remember when Dragon brought up the God's Knights?
To be honest, no.
So when this happened in the manga, it was like a big like shocking thing. Besides something else, if you've seen film Red, you would probably start putting pieces together. But if you haven't, then don't even worry about it. Uh, but it was when Sabo got back from the big Lucia thing. He sits there and they're talking and they're like, okay, and Dragon's pretty much saying like everything is good, but the big thing doesn't happen until the God's Knight mobilize. So now we're seeing who the God's Knights are, and then that just adds like an extra layer into the whole God Valley Rocks thing. Now talking about the Rocks Pirates, man, that is an all-star lineup. Like I don't think you can ask for a better lineup. And I'm not too sure if the anime showed this because before the break I really wasn't watching it. Stussy was a Rocks pirate. That wasn't something that was previously known before right now, wasn't it?
Not that I know of. I thought that she was just part of the world government.
Yeah. So how like when you start in like the guy that was drinking, talking about like the treasure, that's Captain John. You remember in Impel Down how Buggy wanted that bracelet from Luffy?
Mhm.
That's his treasure that he's been looking for, Captain John's treasure. So you're starting to see
Oh,
like so you're
okay,
starting
okay.
to see like all this stuff start looping around where it's like you thought this was just like some lore, right? Like some throwaway lore, like like real world lore, like oh, you get Blackbeard's treasure. No, the Captain John was a real person trying to get their treasure. Was there anything about this that like really stood out for you this week?
Mm. Well, definitely Big Mom and Kaido being there,
Yeah,
and everything with, the 2 devil fruits. As we know, Kaido gets that one, so but in the episode, Big Mom has a hold of it, so I was curious as to how Kaido got a hold of it eventually. Um, Also the blonde samurai. I was trying to
hmm
remember if we've seen him or not. Was he from, Wando?
not Wano. He's from the movie film. I want to say Gold, but I think that's wrong. New World. He's a part of one of them. He was a villain in one of the movies, Golden Lion Shiki.
Okay, okay. So yeah, like just basically having all these characters that we know, like basically like about their history and about their past and stuff was really cool to see them all together on one team. Um, I really hope we get a movie and get to see like what they're capable of too.
Just something, man. It was so crazy. It was crazy reading it, and then seeing it animated was even crazier. And now were you expecting that this is where he gets his devil fruit from? Is from like God Valley, and it was something that like the pirates, the biggest pirates, were looking for?
Um, I guess necessarily not. I don't know if I really even had an ideal like location of like where he would get it, honestly, but um I think it's just cool to see like how it happens because obviously the way that it is originally told, it's like already in the middle of. So now like getting to go back and actually see like how it happens is really cool to see.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that as well. And now you see at near the end of that it's like a flashback within a flashback within a flash. We're doing Inception style flashbacks right now. At the end of that section, you see Saturn approaches Kuma and is like, Buccaneer, you're supposed to be nothing more than a slave. And Kuma asks him like, I think in the manga they kind of show his face like, I feel like his face like feel resentment towards him, saying like, are you supposed to be somebody important? But they didn't. They still showed him being menacing. But I feel like in the manga, if I'm thinking properly, like when he said that, like you see Saturn's eye, like they narrow in on Saturn's eye, like it. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to right now? So how'd you feel about that little lore drop that like, yeah, now we need to get rid of you because you believe in the sun god type of thing?
I think it was you last week that was kind of because I was wondering like why they were chasing, like why were they even after the Buccaneer people, and you told me it was like because of anyone that would know. So basically, I was like expecting that. Another thing I'm still wondering about is the scar because he already had it in this flashback. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious as to who before this gave it to him.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's so weird because there's other man. I would say the girls say are probably one of the biggest like part of like the one of the biggest mysteries because it's like they're the same. This was like 40 years ago, and he looks exactly the same. He hasn't changed or anything like that at all. What would you say is, besides the rocks pirate reveal? What would you say is your favorite part of the episode?
Oh, it definitely seeing Roger and, and his crew and everybody, like, that was just so cool to see a young version of him with the straw hat and, yeah, like, that was definitely my favorite part, getting to see him and getting to see Rayleigh and all of them, that was really cool.
Yeah. Now, what do you think is Garp's fascination with Roger? Because he didn't care about rocks pulling up to the island, but like he kind of hard one when he heard Roger was pulling up.
Yeah, I kinda feel like they have some, like, unshown rivalry or something, like, something that we haven't found out yet that took place before this incident. But there's definitely something there because as soon as he heard his name, he was like, "Yo, you should have said that first."
Yeah, you should have led with it. I know there's a theory that they're both, because Roger is from the East Blue. He's from Logtown, and I'm pretty sure Garp is from the East Blue too. So there's a theory that him and Roger were like best friends growing up, type of thing, and it's like a Orochimaru Jiraiya type of ordeal that's going on with that one. How you feel about that being a possibility?
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see that. There's got to be something to where like they grew up together, or something along those lines, and now it's led to this.
Yeah. And now as this episode was going on, I was like, oh, I'm so wrapped up into the episode that we started. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a good episode this week. No tears. And then they hit us right in the feels, man. And it's not even like right in the feels of seeing something sad. It's like it's so wholesome, and you feel bad for how they're like. Jenny starts crying because she's full. What did you think about that? Not just that sequence, but like seeing him back at the Sorbet Kingdom, which is where he was born, and then interacting with Ivankov and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that was really sad. And like you said, how they're living now where he was born. And just the fact that she was crying because she was full was just like so like you just feel so bad for her because it's been like so long since she has had a full meal and like actually like been happy. And I'm just where this is going, I am expecting this not to last. So I'm just it's like, kind of a wholesome sweet moment right now, but like ex- based off of like what I'm expecting to happen, I'm already just like, yeah, that's not gonna last, and we're just gonna move on to something like even darker and just even worse.
Nah, man, it's the end of the flashback right here. It's the end. We're going right back to the story, man. Put all guards down. You don't need to keep your guard up. Uh, yeah, nah. This episode, this was a great episode, like thematically and everything, like the way it was shown and set up. Uh, I was scared that I guess it would have made sense to put it in there, but apparently Jenny is like a hacker of all hackers. Like she set all of that up, and one thing that really stands out to me is just Ivankov's knowledge of everything. Like, because this is stuff that we just learning in series, right? And it's a 25-year-old series. We're just learning about this stuff, but Ivankov knew this stuff 40 years ago, and probably longer than that. Knew about like the Hunger Games type thing that they have. Knew everything about it. I haven't even talked about this or even seen any. What do you think? Do you think Ivankov comes from a special bloodline as well?
Probably. There's probably been some people in his family that have been, you know, put in this scenario prior, and that's probably how he knew about it. Unless there's just a thing of like him, just like constantly reading the newspapers and like finding out all this stuff and just basically keeping up to date with what's going on, maybe.
Uh, I would see more so the first thing that you said, like maybe he's a survivor of one of the things, like he survived but got taken in as a slave or something like that. Also, just it's nothing too major, but they also brought up Big News Morgan, the guy that
Mm.
that does all the news and stuff. He's just this is what I really like about this flashback in particular is you're starting to see everybody that we learned we're seeing right now in their more infant stages of being a pirate or a marine or something like that. So I really like that section right there. Do you have any? I know last week I asked you about predictions, and there's really hard to really do any predictions on this besides like just more tears, more heartache. Like, do you have anything that you feel like we missed talking about in this conversation, or something that you specifically wanted to talk about?
I think we pretty much covered everything because one of the most important things to me was the devil fruits, and I believe we talked about that. Um, so yeah, I think we covered everything.
Okay. Oh, you know what? There was something in now we don't know exactly the circumstances to how it happened, but Big Mom apparently saved Kaido's life by giving him the devil fruit on God Valley. That was
Mm.
brought up in Wano actually. Uh she was like, you don't forget you owe me for giving you this devil fruit type of thing. So the only thing that we can think of is like he needed it to say like she saved his life by giving him the dragon fruit type of thing. Uh so that was one thing that was actually brought up in Wano, but we don't know the circumstances as to why. But if you don't have, do you even want to give any predictions or anything, or you just want to kind of
Um,
sulk?
I mean, I guess really just them showing us Bonnie being born. That's kind of the next big thing I think is going to be revealed. So
Uh, yeah, I don't think it would be. I saw you saying that in your review, not your review, your reaction. I don't think because it's 4 episodes long, right? The flashback's gonna be 4 episodes long,
yep.
and this is the second. I'm pretty sure Bonnie is going to be I don't think Bonnie's gonna be born next episode.
Oh, okay.
She might. She might. I don't know. It's been like a year and a half since I read those chapters because uh don't want to put myself through torture, man. God damn. Like it's like you thought you had a breather and then you're crying because you're just happy for them. Like, come on, man. And then they really Kuma's voice actor really sold that crying scene at the very end of the episode. Really sold it home for real. Like, God damn you, man. I heard you too. God damn you, Oda.
Yeah, I'm wondering how old he is because Kuma's 9 at this moment. So I wonder how old the voice actor is to make himself sound like that.
Oh yeah, I don't probably an old man. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an old man, honestly.
Yeah.
But I would say out of every character and flashback we've seen, I think Kuma might be the most wholesome character that we've seen. I don't think we've seen a more wholesome character. Like we've seen innocent characters and stuff, right? But I think as far as like just straight wholesome, where you're looking at them, you're like, "Oh, you're so cute, Kuma!" Like grandma status. That's how you feel watching Kuma. But and I think that's what hits you right in the feels even more is the
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that this is just like a wholesome child that you're watching go through it.
Yeah, another thing was, after everything that he had been through, he was still praying. Like, he had not lost faith, and, like, bro, that was just, like, crazy to see him, like, still still have that faith in him even though he, like, literally lost everything.
Yeah. Oh, and also those two kids that were bullying him. I might be wrong, but those are the two crewmates on Bonnie's crew when we meet her.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
those are.
cool, that's
I
cool.
don't think that's any type of spoiler or anything like that, but
Mm.
they're like those two are Bonnie's crewmates when we very first meet her, type of thing. So I think that's a cool little tie-in that we're seeing right there. And then like the size difference is just crazy.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that was one thing that was one thing that crossed my mind, but I didn't wanna go too deep into that, so
That's King Boss all over again. I tell you that much.
Yep, yep.
maybe not as bad as King Boss because that was insane. But
Yeah, not as bad, not as bad.
but I think we'll wrap it up there. And what I need y'all to do is let us know down below how long you cried during the after the episode. What your favorite parts of the episode were. What's something that you're, are you excited for Guy Valley just like we are and want to see it as a movie? Would you like to see it fleshed out more? And also, while you're down there, go on ahead and click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell because it really does help us out to give this great content to you. Peace.